also discuss our premium theme called Taiga. So how to choose the ultimate Shopify theme to create a high converting store is today's topic. A warm welcome to all of you. And during this session, you can ask questions in the chat window. I do highly recommend asking questions. By the end of this session, we'll go through all of your questions. And my question to you, dear participants, is that if you have a specific reason why you are here today, if you have something you would like to ask our specialists regarding themes, choosing the right theme, having theme-related issues, having design-related issues, now it's your time to shoot. So kindly use the chat window for your questions, and if you would dare, please explain us why you are here today. Are you struggling with something that is specific to Shopify and its themes? Woolman is Europe's largest Shopify Plus agency. We have been serving over 350 brands in the past 6+ years. We are serving our customers globally, and we are known as one of the one-stop shops, so that we do offer services when it comes to development, themes, data with our Allis, which is a data management platform. Then we offer growth services, support services, and everything a successful D2C/retail brand needs from Shopify Plus. We are exclusively working with Shopify. We have also developed 20+ custom apps, and today we will focus on our first published theme on the App Store premium theme called Taiga. Today, we'll go quickly through our speakers. Who is joining me today? Who is Joonas? We also start by discussing online and e-commerce trends when it comes to the themes. What is the big picture? Then how to choose a Shopify theme? What should you take into consideration? We'll ask that directly from Joonas. Then also the second question is that what is happening with my theme? If you're unaware of what theme you are using, if you're struggling with your theme, what is the checklist that you absolutely need to take into consideration? Then we have a quick sort of like rumble round. What is theme 1.0 versus 2.0 on Shopify? What should you consider? And finally, we talk about our Taiga. So how to design a premium online store, how to make sure that the experience is such that it converts, but it also feels like premium. And finally, we'll have plenty of room for any questions. So please kindly once more, if you have any questions, use the chat window. By the end of this session, we will go through all of the questions. And if you have a specific reason why you are here today, explain also that in the chat window, or feel free to reach out to us after this session. Now, Joonas Toroi, you're here. Kindly introduce yourself to all of our listeners today.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Joonas Toroi, and as you can see, here's my title, Design Lead in Woolman. And short recap, my background with e-commerce is about 10+ years, and the latest 7 years now been working with Shopify, and especially with the online storefront. So how does your online store work? How does it look like? Not only the visuals and the designs, but also the technical stuff, but how everything works together with the designs. So that's kind of short introduction on my side. And yeah, I've been part of the Woolman journey from the very beginning. So come a long way, and also the themes in Shopify especially have also evolved in these past 7 years a lot. So it's nice to talk about the opportunities you will have with the new theme versions and with our theme as well.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. Well, warmly welcome. My name is Mikko Rekola. I'm Chief Evangelist here at Woolman. I've helped 200+ brands selling on Shopify Plus. I'm also a former merchant, now helping our mid-market to enterprise brands to succeed in D2C. Joonas, let's start going. So what about the major e-commerce trends when it comes to design and content? What would you say about usability and the key features everybody are looking for these days?
Well, I think like in terms of usability, you really need to focus on your end users, so what they're looking for in the online store. And I think you need to look at your online store as a store that need to serve different kind of needs. So the basic need, of course, is to make the online sales. So it needs to be easy to find your different products, tell about your products, but that's not the only thing. You might need to also tell about your brand if the user is new to your brand. So there's a lot of functions, and that's why it's good to think the different kind of journeys that the end users are coming from. But of course, the main thing is to keep your store as an online store in most cases, and also include the brand in certain extent. And that's the kind of key focus, and how you should kind of approach the e-commerce spectrum, I would say.
Really good. What about accessibility, content, and mobile first? What kind of trends those are? What's your take?
Well, I think, well, I'll go through from the mobile first, because I think that's been quite a big trend for a longer while now. But now people, of course, take it more and more seriously. And I think in terms of designing your store, that's where we're still kind of lacking in with some design agencies, that it should really be like a mobile first design as well, not only the technical stuff. So that's I would, even though it's been a topic for many years now, but it's still like a big topic, and you need to really consider that. In terms of accessibility, I think it's also really important to include every kind of customer to your online store. So not to exclude anyone. It's super important to do the theme store, the theme really well, so that there is no kind of drawbacks with different disabilities and stuff like that. And in terms of content, it's more like content is the king also in the e-commerce. So you need to really have good content on your products, on your brand as well. You need to tell who you are, what are you selling, and especially like images give a lot for the end user to make the final kind of purchase decision as well.
Lovely, really good comments. And then I could add there that what is essential these days, especially if you are in the EU or selling to EU, is that you need to consider GDPR. You need to take content from that side as well, that you need to make sure that you follow the regulations. And quite a big topic is also the cookie consent and cookie consent pop-ups, which has caused lots of trouble for many merchants. Joonas, what would be your take on the cookie consents? What can you do from a design point of view that the experience wouldn't be all awful?
Well, it's a good point. I also agree that it's now that we have the regulations, which are really good for the in terms of the data for the end user to keep those safe, but it can be quite a hassle sometimes when you go to an online store and you just see pop-up after a pop-up asking for consent for this and that. I think it's been evolving the past years. Now we start to see better and better, especially apps with Shopify, who offer kind of great visuals and kind of clear message that what's the consent for. I think it's still kind of in a stage that it's evolving, but I think we're on the right track to minimize different kind of pop-ups and distraction on the online store experience.
Great. Then a major trend that has also occurred just lately is Shopify markets. So quite a good chunk of our customers are selling with a single store that can serve multiple markets, multiple countries, multiple languages and currencies. And we see this as a major trend in the future. Joonas, what about design? What should you take into consideration if you're considering a Shopify market setup, or if you are new to Shopify platform and you're going with Shopify markets from the very start? Anything you would like to point out?
Well, of course, Shopify market is really, really important, and it's a huge opportunity for most of the kind of online sellers to start selling in the different markets. And what is good in terms of the Shopify themes, that they're going to support the basic features of giving the end user the easy option to change the different market, different currencies and languages. It's, of course, you need to set those up in your store, but still it's for the end user, we can make it super convenient to be in the correct market in the first place and see the correct language and the correct currency as well in the store.
Great, really good points. And then moving on, the basic question we typically face a lot is that how to choose a Shopify theme. So Joonas, you have pointed out here like 4 bullet lists. How would you get started when you are choosing a theme for your Shopify store?
Well, yeah, first of all, it's so this is kind of, there's different aspects on where you start from, but this is one approach, I would say. Sometimes you could kind of choose some of these top bullet points to be your first one, but first of all, what I list here is, of course, your kind of catalog size. How much different products do you have in your online store? This really kind of defines your starting points. And for the note for everyone, we always recommend that you start with the curated Shopify theme stores theme, because they have the built-in features in place to support all the features that you have in Shopify. But when you go to the theme store in Shopify, you can start to look for like with different catalog size, because this affects a lot of the navigation of your store, for example, and kind of findability of discoverability of your products. So I think this is a good approach. Then in terms of look and feel, I think the most important thing here is the kind of layout and structure. So if you look and compare the store, different themes in the theme store, you will kind of see, of course, different colors and styles, but keep in mind that colors and fonts and buttons, how they're styled, it's kind of easy to change in the end in almost every theme. But the layout and structure might be more kind of hard to change. So that's where you could focus on. And of course, you can kind of select the different themes by industry as well. I think that's a good option in the theme store. You maybe check what kind of options are there for your industry, and keep that as to get kind of good ideas that, hey, maybe we could do a similar kind of section or a similar kind of content page that this demo store has there. So I think that's also a good point in terms of like features as well. So looking for the demo stores and going through those. So navigation, what kind of sections they have, getting inspiration there. But then, of course, I think the last bullet point here is this is a lot more harder to distinguish from the theme store. That is it kind of development proof. So in many cases, the theme you choose is kind of a good starting point. Sometimes it's a really good starting point. It's a good fit. But in many cases, you will still need to customize the theme, the online store experience. You might have something super different in your products. You want to have kind of different features. So then you need to be kind of certain that the theme is also easy to customize further. And this is something you probably might need a little bit more experience to check that. Is for example, a JavaScript in a form that is easy to access for developers that would kind of take your theme to the next level.
Very good points, Joonas. And if I still take the last one, so what you're actually saying here is that the theme is sort of like a suit that you purchase it, but it needs to be further tailored. If you read like Shopify's own comments, they are saying that themes are like plug and play. And from a commercial perspective, that might be the case. But when you look at the actual case and our customers, especially when you go to mid-market or enterprise, is it so that you actually like the theme is just the starting point where you start the development, or is my correct, or do I have a like correct view on this, and what would be your comments?
Yeah, I think it's more more of a starting point. And as I said, sometimes you really could fit, so you might not need that much customization, but it really depends on what kind of products or services you're selling in your online store. So that's sometimes we need really heavy lifting in terms of customization. So it's really important that you can do those customization, those tailor stuff in your theme easily.
Very good. And definitely our skill team is more than willing to help you to choose the theme and help with that. So we offer that as a service, and it's been highly rated that we make sure that your wishes are welcome, but to make sure that it also functions really well on the commercial side. Then the next question, which is the most typical we face a lot, is that what is going on with my theme? So if you want to create a high converting store, how do you start, Joonas? When we get these requests from customers, what should you do? Or can a customer do something themselves, or is it something that a plus partner such as Woolman can do for you?
Yeah, of course we can do a lot and help you here, but in like what we pointed out here, like in the worst case scenario, the merchant, they don't know a lot what the theme itself includes. So that's a really bad place to be in if you don't know what's your theme, what kind of customizations you have made there and stuff like that. So in those cases, we really kind of recommend to kind of go through the theme really well in terms of this kind of theme health check, to see first of all what's the theme version you have, what's the theme that it's based on, what kind of different apps you might have been using, stuff like that. Really check also the performance and in kind of many aspects on what's the theme about. And there you really, if you don't have a in-house kind of development team, then of course you can rely on partners like us, but you really need a experienced developer that also have experience with Shopify, so to really know that what's going on behind the scenes. And of course, then after you get the health check, or otherwise you are just looking for maybe you need to update your theme, you want to have new visuals, you think it's outdated. I think it's also really good to point out to plan your future store really well. So one approach is of course to kind of select a theme from the theme store and start building on that. But we would also recommend to have like a proper planning service on what your online store is going to look like, how is it going to work. So with those kind of good well planned store, you can really prevent all the drawbacks in the development step, and we can choose a good baseline theme to start the development from. And that's like after you have a good plan on what kind of functions, what kind of different features you're looking for from your online store, then it's a lot more easier to start the development. So you have the features, the functions, but also like a visual guidelines and a kind of preview on the theme, like what you're looking for.
Thank you, Joonas. A really good advice. And from there, we can jump to the next topic, the Rumble one. So theme 1.0 versus 2.0. First of all, could you kindly explain us what are themes 2.0? What is this all fuss about?
Yeah, this might be something new for some, but and now actually Shopify themselves don't even mention the 2.0 that much anymore, because every theme that it's on the theme store is a 2.0 version. But we still like to highlight this because it's like in the past you had these so-called 1.0 theme versions, and it was a huge leap in terms of what the teams are capable of when they transferred to this new version. And here are the kind of big core differences, and it's a huge leap what they did in terms of what teams are capable of. So first of all, you have the sections everywhere, so you are capable of building different landing pages and different kind of content on different templates as well really easily. So this is one of the biggest changes that came with the 2.0 themes. Then, of course, the filtering and search also changed a lot, and now they are gonna enhance as well. So you have a lot better filtering options, a lot better search options, and also you can filter the search results as well really easily. And one thing I also like to point out, that if you still have a kind of old theme, it might not even support the paste functionalities that are with the new themes. So there's a lot of minor tweaks here and there, like support for video content, support for 3D content on product pages, on stuff like that, that might not be included in your old theme. So the new themes, of course, have that. And after that, also the theme structure. This is something like under the hood, I would say, that you don't see it, but it's there, that the theme structures have evolved as well. They are getting a lot more better in terms of performance. So overall, it's gonna guide it that you need to take the performance into account in a lot more serious way than in past days. Then also app support. So this is something I like to highlight as well, because past it was more like the apps needed to be kind of custom fitted into your theme code, and this of course ended up causing different problems when you needed to update your theme and make changes. Now it's more like we try to separate the apps from the theme code, so that the apps bring different sections and different blocks to you choose from, but they don't really scramble your theme code. So it's a lot more easy to update and keep in line. Then lastly, there is like new features with the meta fields as well. The old teams support these in some form, but the new teams also have a lot more options with the meta fields, and having kind of dynamic content on different templates. It's a little bit advanced topic, so we're not gonna go too deep in there.
Good, really good comments, Joonas. Thank you for those. And just from a growth and conversion point of view, I would like to still point out that first, because when it was in the past that you were using 1.0 themes, you were mainly using different type of apps, so-called page builder apps. And they were really like lousy, and you ended up having like landing pages in the shape you wished, but the loading speed was slow, and you ended up having tons of issues. So when I've looked at data from our customers who have updated to these newer themes, I can definitely see increase in conversions and those landing pages which you are now created with these sections everywhere. Second, here is the app support part. So it's a better app support if you are using key apps. In your case, then definitely it would be a go. And then finally, the whole like holistic performance. You want it to be fast. You want it to be on your brand. So, Joonas, what's your take? Why is now a perfect time to update to a 2.0 theme? And what's your take on the whole performance thing?
Well, I think the reason that you should really look into updating your theme, especially if you have a really old theme, is what we kind of highlighted before, especially in terms of theme structure and kind of base functions, and also the app support, because this was a huge leap in terms of the themes with Shopify, and now that they've kind of done it, there's not gonna in the future there will be incremental changes and incremental kind of new updates on the theme level, but nothing this big. So that's also a good reason that now is a good time to jump into the new themes. The kind of major leap is behind us, so now is a good time to update. And in terms of performance, you can really see, even if you have the same theme, an older version and a newer version, I think you can see that the performance is going to get a little bit, quite a lot better in terms of the theme code itself. Of course, the apps also affect your performance, but the theme in the base needs to be solid as well.
Great, really good. Moving on. Joonas, we have lately released our first own theme, premium theme on the Shopify theme store called Taiga. What's the background behind this? I've heard that it was a request from Shopify that, hey, it would be good if you guys could publish something great on the theme store. Is this correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Like in last spring, was a request from Shopify. Of course, the theme store didn't have that much themes or selection at the moment, so they were also checking us because of our background, and they knew that we do a lot of work with the team, so that could we also take part in with the ecosystem in this way. And we were really keen on doing this because we like have kept a kind of keen eye on the themes, our whole history in Woolman, and we've been thinking that should we do our own theme. It's been like maybe not, but now we were like, hey, now it's a good time, let's do our own theme. And it also helps us to kind of develop the different stores that we make, like kind of custom stores for our customers. So giving a good theme for this kind of smaller merchant, but also a really good baseline for bigger project where you might need to have customizations on top of the theme. And yeah, here is like who is it for, what's the main audience for our team. It's, of course, we have this kind of fashion and sportswear demo stores and in place, but I think it's really up to your imagination. You can really use our theme in multiple ways with different industries, so don't be too focused that it's only for fashion industry, or that I think it's really, we try to serve a really big kind of market with our theme, so that it has a lot of functionalities for everyone. And also what we try to keep it, one point that we had in the previous slide as well, to keep it developer friendly. So you can choose us as a partner to kind of customize it further, but you are free to choose someone else if that's your take. But we try to keep the code so that it's easy to customize and tailor fit to different cases as well.
Thank you, Joonas. And from my perspective, this is great because I've been a Taiga fan since been released, and you can now find it on the theme store. You can see already stores that have been published using it, and now we will come with a very big release next month. So stay tuned for that. And when you look at the data part, I think it's been super interesting that it's been installed a lot in US, installed a lot in Asia, so that you can truly see how powerful the whole theme store and ecosystem is, that themes are going global and they're super wide. Anything else you would like to point out from Taiga? Why would you choose Taiga over something else?
Well, if we go like a sneak peek on kind of features, or I would like to highlight is, of course, the fact that we try to support like video in every place where there is an option for image. So that's something that you don't see that often in themes, that you can choose between image or video content in terms of your different sections. So that kind of, I think that's something that separates us from many themes, that we have this option in almost all of the sections where you can use the image. You can set it to video content and as well. And of course, we give you like full control on, you can have a different video for mobile and different video for desktop, of course, because of the layout of different sections do change a lot. Then there's a little bit what we're gonna rethink the mega menu as well. You should probably check the demo stores to get the full understanding. It's kind of, we try to incorporate this kind of content in the main navigation. So you can think it more like people don't land always on your home page, but now through the navigation, even with mobile devices, you can set different kind of content inside the navigation to really highlight, for example, your latest products or new products or discounts. So we incorporated that a little bit differently than others. And then just a minor thing, for example, here is like layout controls. We try to give you those kind of really good layout controls to set different spacing between sections and stuff like that, to get the most out of the theme and get the online store in line with your brand as well.
Cool. I've seen lots of cases also from industries such as CPG, home decor, sports, who have already loved Taiga and sent us really good feedback. But Joonas, you either love me or hate me. You know who I am. What about the speed and the performance? What can Taiga do here?
Well, we really also kept an eye on that the whole development cycle, and still are keeping look. Like it's really important that the performance is really good. So in that sense, we've seen like really good scores. The theme itself is kind of blazing fast, so that's our main point. Of course, with the performance, you really need to keep an eye on the apps you're using. Those tend to affect the performance a lot more than the theme that you're using. So, but we try to make sure that the Taiga is not the weakest link. It's gonna be solid in terms of performance as well.
I love it, and I have to admit that I've done some personal testing. So Taiga is the Ferrari. It's probably the fastest. We've done some case examples there, and Taiga is scoring extremely well. So if you're looking something that loads fast, works very well on mobile, then definitely I would recommend you trying out Taiga. But Joonas, what about in those cases where we are looking at mid-market or enterprise customers who want to have everything as a service? So can Taiga work as a baseline for a more private theme?
Yeah, that's also one of the ideas, that now that we've done the development ourselves, we really know the code base really well, and it's a good, super good baseline for those kind of projects. And of course, we like to do a proper design of the online store experience before jumping into bigger customizations. So, but then we can kind of reap the benefits of having Taiga there as a baseline to have the actual development step a lot quicker and more efficient. So that's also one of the ideas, to keeps structures and some of the lying features on the Taiga level in place, but then adding the different customizations and tailor things on top of that. That's really also one of the things that we've kept in mind.
Amazing. Great. Now it's perfect time to send out questions. There is the chat window. Feel free to send out questions here. And Joonas, would you mind to read? There is at least one question. So please, could you kindly answer to that question? And now it's perfect time to ask us more before we end this session.
Yeah, I can read out the questions here. I'll start from the bottom. So the latest question is about integrated feature, or does Taiga have an integrated feature on compatible feature for bundle products bundles? For bundles, it's there isn't any kind of built-in. There's a section where you can show off like a look of a image where you can have multiple products in a single image. I think the bundles are really done in a little bit different way in terms of in technical terms. So this is, none of the themes actually have that kind of super good bundle feature in it. Then next up, does Taiga theme have percentual discount shown in the upper right corner tag? At the moment, we have this option for having the sales badge, but this is, of course, if you're looking for something like this, we are really happy to make this kind of minor change in the theme to have this kind of percentual discounts visible as well.
Cool.
Then there is, can you explain more about how to manage Shopify markets in different themes and how Shopify markets work? I think this is a really big topic, like Shopify markets, and we have a really good specialist for this. I think we should maybe take a good point from this, that maybe we should have a next webinar about Shopify markets in terms of how does that function, because if we start to talk about that, we're going to take a lot more time than we have left.
I fully agree, and there is already a recording on the markets as a baseline here on our YouTube channel. But you feel free to reach out to us. At least me, we can definitely discuss the market setup. It's sort of like it's been developing past months so rapidly that it's a bit hard to stay on top of all of that. So please reach out to me, and we can definitely check out that with you.
Yeah, then there was a couple other questions as well. How can I evaluate team code supports fast performance? Well, there is a lot of different tools in online tools. You can check the page speed there from Google, for example. And in terms of Google, is really like a key player in this speed performance spectrum. So there's tools in online, and there's also tools built into your browser that you can check too. So probably easiest way to Google it at this point. And then what makes theme great one for developers to customize it further? So yeah, we shortly touched this as well. So one of the things is good theme structure. The code structure is good, and also what some themes have, this JavaScript is kind of uncompiled, so it's easy to read, easy to edit. Some really good themes have this kind of compiled JavaScript, so it's kind of hard to make any edits on that. Then there's how the layout framework should be validated when comparing different Shopify themes. So this probably refers to how different, like for example, product page layouts and stuff like that. It's the easiest ways to actually try out the different themes in your own online store, because there you can also change the settings even without kind of doing the purchase. You can see what kind of different layouts and what kind of layout framework the actual theme has. Then there is like how evaluating CMS and SEO capabilities when selecting a theme from Shopify theme store. In terms of like CMS, like content management system, or how you manage the content in the stores, is really similar in different themes. Of course, the themes have different settings, so this is also easiest to validate in the trying the theme in your own store. CEO capabilities, I think all the themes in the theme store meet this kind of criteria for basic CEO stuff, so that the markup on the HTML level is really good, and it's done in a correct way. And this is also the different parts of the site are accessible for the search engines. But I think this is maybe a little bit hard to validate in the trials, but you can keep in mind that they are in a good level in all of the stores. There's something else yet. Can you elaborate more on how big of a task it is to update the theme for your Shopify store while, for example, not losing an important customization? Yeah, this is a good question. Like, especially if you have an old online store and you are looking into updating into a new version of a theme, it's good to know what kind of customization you have in place. If the more you have kind of custom work in the theme level, you might need to redo some of that. But in the future, especially with apps, it's more like you have the app section, so that you don't need to so much go into the theme code itself to make the customization. So that's something we also can look into when you're updating to a new theme. But I think it's crucial for every merchant to know what are the kind of crucial customizations you have made in your theme. That's if you take something out of it, that make sure that you know what your theme, what the crucial customizations are, then it's a lot more easier to check that how hard it is to also kind of customize those in a new theme as well.
Really good. Joonas, specific question related to that. Is that also something where we can help, or do we typically help in these situations if customer is not quite sure that what kind of customizations the whole theme has?
Yeah, we can definitely help with that. So doing a different kind of health checks for your theme. And then what we've seen in the health checks, that is especially in older times when the apps needed to be kind of welded into your theme, kind of hard coded inside your theme, we could see that there is a lot of old apps, even old app code in your theme that might slow your site, might cause different kind of errors in the code to make your site even slower. So that's a really important note as well. So if you have those old themes, they're more prone to this kind of issues, that there's old code for old apps that you might not even use anymore. So that's also one good point, that why the app sections are so important in the future.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of your questions. If you come up with more, then feel free. We are more than delighted to help when it comes to everything related to theme development, changing your theme, or if you're landing on a Shopify Plus for the first time, definitely we can help you. And if you have more questions regarding Taiga, also feel free to reach out. If you want to learn more about us, then definitely visit our website, woolman.co, and also listen to our weekly Commerce Insights podcast on Spotify. There is a special episode with Joonas where we discuss Taiga in depth. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Joonas. It's been a pleasure. Have a really nice day.
Thank you all.